All right, live stream should be going. Cool. Here we go. All right, let's do it. There's a little bit of a delay, but you just give me your questions and I'm getting set up right now. Let's pop this out. Okay. All right, you guys let me know if everything sounds good as you come in. All right. In the meantime, let's talk about, what's going on in the world. I know everybody's on lockdown and quarantine, and there's a ton of people who don't normally train with bodyweight exercises, like they're gym rats, and now they're just giving advice left and right about how to work out without a gym. And so I made a little a blog post here that says top 5 tips to transition from the gym to at-home bodyweight training successfully. Okay, so a couple of things I want to say. Don't mix up concepts of endurance training and strength training. All right, so the number one thing I want to say with that is that a lot of, sorry guys, one sec. So a lot of guys will say, I want to do 100 push-ups. Okay, why do you want to do 100 push-ups? Because you want to get strong, right? Well, I mean, that's not the best way to go about it. Would you do 100 bicep curls if you want to get your biceps really strong using like a 2-pound dumbbell? No, you would lift heavy. So what you should do is you should pick a push-up that is harder than a regular push-up. Elevate your feet. Do decline push-ups. Do pike push-ups, for example. I have a whole thing on pike push-ups. If you go to ontronic.org/pike-push-ups, and these push-ups are way harder than regular push-ups. And if you don't know how to do push-ups, just search push-ups and my name, and you'll see how to do proper push-ups. And this way of doing push-ups is like way harder than normal. Okay, so like basically don't try to do 100 push-ups. It just doesn't make any sense from like any aspect unless you really just want that goal. But most people, they want to get strong, they want to have like a better physique, and like, training endurance is not the most efficient way to go with it. So, I also say progression exercises are the key. So make things harder, make things, less difficult. And I made a blog post on how to make any bodyweight exercises easier or harder. If you just go to ontronic.org/progressions, I'll put the link in the chat right there. Actually, I'll put both links in the chat right now that I'm talking about. Anyway, so, because there's like a dozen, no more than a dozen, like 16 ways to make things harder or easier, okay? Now, and then another concept is I want you to think about training the movements and not the individual muscles, all right? So like if you can't do a pull-up, right? Let me get out of the way here so you could see. If you can't do a pull-up, right? Like what that guy's doing, are you gonna do just bicep curls? Like you could, but that's not the best way to go about it. Like you should be doing a direct progression that will lead you to pull-ups. And for example, in this scenario, the best scenario would be to do rows and negative pull-ups. Okay, so negative pull-ups are when you jump over the bar or use a chair to get your chin over the bar and then lower down slowly. For example, so like if you can't do a push-up, you don't need to like find out how to strengthen your chest. Just do like incline push-ups with your hands elevated. Same concept. So, you know, when you have a gym, you have access to weights and machines that will isolate your muscles. But with bodyweight exercises, almost all of them are compound exercises. So just like these are fairly basic, but I feel like I need to go over them. And by the way, while I'm talking, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I also want to adjust something. Boom. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, and another concept, you could train your entire body with just pulling and pushing movements. So just think of like anything pushing, like push-ups, handstands, L-sits, dips, and pulling is like pull-ups, like rows, pull-ups, front levers. All of these work the back of your body. If you just do pushing and pulling work, your upper body is generally taken care of. There's, of course, more detail to this, but like if you're overwhelmed and you're not sure what to do, keep it simple. Just do like, you know, some variation, some progression of pulling work and pushing work. And I have a video, I mean, not a video, but a free minimal routine. I'll share the link in the chat on one that uses just pushing and pulling work in a routine that you could do multiple times a week, and it's not too stressful. Okay, so you know, and then the last thing I mentioned, you know, a lot of people have been saying this on the R Bodyweight Fitness subreddit. They say, oh, I don't feel my chest working or my triceps working when I'm doing a push-up or when I'm doing a diamond push-up. Like they try to go to a harder variation of a push-up and they don't feel their chest working, or they're doing pull-ups and they don't feel their lats working. Okay, you don't actually have to feel it working there. You don't have to feel a burn there for you to know that it's working. You don't have to go to absolute utter failure to know that you are progressing. The best way to know that you're progressing is to keep a track record, a log of, you know, what you're doing, how many reps you're doing, and then just look back. Do you see a trend? Do you see a plateau? Like, then you'll know. Because soreness, the burn, all that stuff is not going to be the ideal, you know, way to track everything. So if you guys have any questions, throw them out right now. And, you know, you can ask me literally anything right now. And yeah, let's do a new window. Okay. So Ansar says, hello, boss. How are you handling the lockdown? The lockdown is interesting. So normally I work out at I normally go to my local park, not necessarily Muscle Beach every time, but like my local park to work out. And I haven't been going there because the parks are off limits and you shouldn't be touching things that everyone else is touching. So it's even like, even though I know how to work out with, you know, minimal equipment, it's even affected me. So I do most of my workout at home, and honestly, it's a good time. Like, it's not bad. I'm reading more. there's much more moments where I'm realizing that I just want to do nothing and kind of meditate. And I had lost that connection a bit. So it's going to be very interesting. I think this quarantine lockdown is going to be changing people's lives in interesting ways. It's up to you to stay productive and find what you really want. I think that's what we're going to learn the most is, it's going to make it glaring. This isolation is going to make it glaringly obvious what you want and don't want in life. What are you actually missing out on? What do you think? Maybe you thought you were missing out on something, but you're actually not. So, you know, there's a lot to this, and social distancing is quite interesting. I hope it doesn't have a negative effect. I mean, people are generally antisocial as it is. Maybe people are going to be even more antisocial, or maybe there's going to be a rubber band effect and people are going to be way more social afterwards because they realize they need that human connection. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We have a couple questions coming in. So let's see. Murat Koksal asks, when following progressions as a beginner, how can I tell when I'm ready to try harder exercises? It's fairly easy. Like there's no hard and fast rule. You should just, try it out. First of all, like let me see if you have a follow-up. Okay, so whenever you're asking questions, just be as detailed as possible, please, so that I can know exactly what you're asking about, and then I can give an even better answer. So in general, if you can do a few reps, like 3 reps minimum of something, you can try incorporating that into your workout. 3 reps is like the bare minimum, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you should completely not do the previous progression. Maybe you do 3 reps of like this really hard new progression, and then you do like the next 2-3 sets of the previous progression that you were already doing. So I would say somewhere between 3 to 5 reps is a good minimum. And then in regards to, how many reps do you have to have been doing to go to the next one, it really depends on the exercise. Some you may need to have done 8 reps, like 3 sets of 8. Others, much more. Like if you're going from parallel bar dips, you're doing dips on a parallel bar, and you want to go to ring dips, you might need to do like 3 sets of 12 reps of parallel bar dips before you could do like 3 dips on the rings, for example. So like it differs from exercise to exercise, but my original statement was you have to experiment and just try it, and more reps in the beginning when you're a pure beginner are better. Like if you're not used to doing pull-ups, it's good to work up to 8 pull-ups for 3 sets. Like not just because you want to hit that magical number, but that process of getting there forces you to work on the actual movement pattern a lot. Like, and you're getting a lot more practice in, which you need. And you need that time and effort. Like, you need that experience to improve your form, improve your tempo, actually get stronger. So, yeah. I'm going to move on to the next question. Stapes asking, I'm very inflexible and it's affected things such as my running a lot as I've been getting injured easily. Are there any daily flexibility, mobility routines you'd recommend? Like I have a few yoga videos that are follow along that I recommend. So if we go to my website, we just go to the home page and we go to the latest blog post. It says, oh no, not the latest one, the second latest one says get strong and flexible at home. I'm gonna put a link to this right now in the chat. If you go there and scroll down to follow along yoga flexibility videos, start with the first one, the 35-minute yoga video for posture. I also have a 20-minute video on and a few others. However, oh, and there's this playlist that has like 20 videos, 20 yoga videos, differing from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. Just do them, okay? Like, those are simple videos you can follow along. I'll share the yoga video link in there. So, you know, those will help improve your flexibility and kind of like open up your body in a multitude of ways, in a well-balanced way. I also have like, you know, premium programs. Like I have a hip flexibility program and a hamstring flexibility program. These are follow along, 30-minute follow along videos. I also have like a shoulder flexibility program. These are like the best that I could come up with, the most efficient way that you can, you know, train your flexibility in a short amount of time. However, you know, if you don't want to pay for it, you know, I have my yoga videos and those are pretty good. All right, so Stape says, brilliant, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. Yes, all right. Creek says, thank you so much for everything you offer us, homie. The information is life-changing. Well, I'm glad it's life-changing. You're welcome. Okay, having some tea. All right. Alkalina asks, how are your stretches? I would like to see more your progress. I feel like my pike gets stuck a little bit and I need to change a lot. Me personally, I haven't been like pushing my flexibility beyond whatever I have right now. Like, you know, I could put my hands flat on the floor in a pike position, my palms flat with the legs straight, and I'm not trying to like improve upon that. That's already like at my limits and it's been that way for a while. And I'm comfortable with that. I've just been working on getting stronger instead. I don't know where you are exactly with your pike flexibility, so it's hard to recommend exactly where because flexibility can be so different. But like in general, I like, you know, pyramid pose, standing splits. These are a couple really good hamstring stretches. Also, you should stretch your calves because calves could be a sticking point where it's not allowing your hamstrings, you know, your the back of your legs to open up. It could also even be your lower back, but you got to be careful when stretching your lower back. However, plow pose, like, see, it's hard to recommend without knowing exactly where you are. But if you were like intermediate to beginner, plow pose is awesome. You know, I just searched plow pose. This one, you know, this is really good for just, you know, I do this like as a warm up. For someone else, this could be like their peak pose after like an hour-long yoga class. So I don't know, like it's hard to recommend without knowing you exactly. That's why I say be detailed in the questions. Okay. Ansar says, he's asking, have you experienced any lower back pain or injuries in the past? If so, what were they and how did you cope? So I've never actually had like any like traumatic accident or reason to have lower back pain. Although the only times I've had lower back pain is due to inactivity, sitting too much, and like not stretching overall. If like the one thing I would recommend would be like, other than the yoga videos like I just listed, those are really good. You should do like the hip flexor stretch. If you just search like hip flexor and my name, do part 1 and part 2. Or actually you could go to the low lunge page, how to do the perfect low lunge to stretch your hip flexors. And let me just tag you and put this, like, I don't know if you do this stretch already, but like the muscles in the front of your thigh and hips connect to your lower back. Okay, so if you do that, like if your hip flexors are tight and you don't stretch them normally, this could be a simple way to like help your lower back feel better. And this is something you could do every day. Okay, so but if you have like lower back pain because of more complicated reasons, it's hard to, you know, make any other recommendations right now without knowing you. Next question. Skater Matt asks or says, I've had golfer's elbow for just under a year now from overworking my body doing calisthenics. I haven't been able to work out in months. I know you struggled with tendonitis in the past. I got myself a flex bar and I'm currently doing 3 sets of 30 reps every other day of extension exercises. How long do you think it will take before I can get back to muscle ups, etc.? Okay, so you've had golfer's elbow. Golfer's elbow is pain on the inner elbow, and you're doing the, you know, I made like a video. Well, I made a video on tennis elbow with negative reverse wrist curls. So I'm guessing you're doing just wrist curls, negative wrist curls, like negative wrist curls. If you are, like, I don't know if you, how long you've had tendonitis. I mean, you said under a year, and I don't know how long you've been doing the rehab, but it could take anywhere from like a couple weeks to a few months. So I don't know like how extreme your situation is, but I mean, I'm sorry, I can't say exactly how long it'll take to, you know, get back, but just keep at it, okay? Also, you can do self-massage, like especially like where the tendons are, just use your thumb to like really just like work that area. Not like, don't do it so much that you hurt yourself, but like, you know, there's a few things you could do like that, but those exercises are gonna be really good. And then after you're pain free for like a week, don't just jump into your exercises again. You gotta like, you gotta like keep doing it for like at least another week, and then like slowly get back into things. And if there's like a hint of pain, like back off. And even when you're pain free, keep doing the rehab. Okay. So let's see. Freak Curry asks, what kind of books have you read recently that you might recommend? So I don't know if you're in a, so like personally what I read, if you're a guy and you're in a relationship, or even if you're not in a relationship, but The Way of the Superior Man by David, what's his name? David Data. This was pretty great. It's actually kind of deep. Like I'll just send you the link in the chat. I don't know, like, you know, if you're interested in this, but this is what I read recently and it was pretty good. So you can read the reviews and see if it jives with you. Okay, Did you have to make any drastic lifestyle changes to fix your tennis elbow? Yes. So I have an article on tennis elbow. If you go ontronic.org/tennis-elbow, and I wrote like all the ways everything I did to get rid of my tennis elbow. The number one thing was like avoid moves that create pain. So like I had to like not do a bunch of exercises that I like doing. That's the number one. That's like, if like climbing the rope hurt, I had to stop doing that. If like dips hurt, I had to stop doing that. Like anything that hurt, I had to like stop doing that. But then again, I had to discover things that didn't hurt. So like maybe I had to work on my hip flexibility. Maybe I would work on my front splits, or straddle splits. Like there are things, your elbow is just like a small part of your body. So like you have your entire lower back, your lower body, you have your core. You can work on so many other things. And yeah, you just have to basically see everything as like a blessing in disguise and see how you can benefit from this situation. All right. And by the way, we're like 30 minutes in. In the chat, please write if you have any requests for any videos you want me to make. And because I'm going to be shooting some videos in the next couple days, maybe I could fit one of your requests in. Okay. So let's see some other questions here. Mushroom Gods says, no one knows anyone with coronavirus. I've been out riding my bike for hours every day, taking advantage of almost no cars on the road. I've asked people in all the surrounding towns on my rides. Okay, sure, I guess. If you think it's like a conspiracy, okay, but you're just one person. There's probably, if you ask like someone in Italy, I'm sure they know everyone knows like someone who was affected or died from it just because it affected so many more people there. Who knows? I don't know. But I too am riding my bicycle, I love it. There's so few cars on the road and it's so quiet and peaceful. It's amazing. And there's a lot less smog. So yeah, keep riding your bike. It's really what's helping to keep me sane. It's awesome. All right. So, what eating habits do you practice? Vegan or meat only or balanced? I'm like a flexitarian. Okay, I'm like anything goes right now. However, I do tend to prioritize lower carb options. So that's how I kind of see it. I just see it like, I see a lot of foods in terms of macronutrient ratios. Like I know in my head if this is like high protein, high fat, low carb, like that sort of way. And I do intermittent fasting. Like I haven't ate yet, so I skip breakfast. It's like a little past noon and I haven't ate anything yet. This is like pretty normal for me. So I usually, don't have any breakfast and then I'll have like a light lunch and then a heavier dinner. And yeah, that's pretty much how I go about it. Okay, Alkalina says they have pretty good flexibility. Can almost touch my chest on my legs, hands on the floor, and pushing to get to the V-sit. Good, awesome. Yeah, like flexibility is tough, man. Like it's honestly, flexibility work is harder than strength training in just mentally. Sometimes it's just more painful, it's harder to gauge. You can make progress by millimeters, and it's imperceptible, and you might not even know that there's any improvement, and you might think you're actually going backwards when you're actually going forwards. But just keep at it, man. Like, just keep at it. Oh, I lost my place. Where are we at? Okay. Moritz says, as a beginner, I'm really struggling with yoga videos. The speed of the instructions is pretty fast, and I can't follow, which demotivates me. So it could be my videos that are too fast. I know some parts might be too fast, but honestly, like, you're gonna get used to it. Yoga has so many poses, so many transitions, and there's so much going on, and each pose has so many intricacies, and each teacher teaches so many different things. Like, there's a lot of complexity to it. So one of the things you could do on YouTube is you can, like, go and, where is it? There's a way to slow down the video. Like, let me find the video. Like, here's my yoga video where I did, like, on a stand-up paddleboard. Where am I? Boom. Okay, it's called Zen Ocean Yoga. This was the last day of my yoga, my 30-day yoga challenge. And let's see, I think there's an option here. If you go to let me move myself. If you go to the gear icon and then you go, like, playback speed, you can do like 0.75. So, like, it'll play at 3/4 of the speed. Maybe, the voice will sound weird, but maybe that's what you need for certain videos. That's like the first thing. Or just choose a different teacher that, like, goes with your slower pace. So, could be someone else entirely. All right, I'm just gonna leave this video playing because it looks good, right? All right, so let's see, more questions. Gokhan asks, what's your opinion about doing Frenchies, which is like if you're doing a pull-up and you, like, stop part way or like 1/4 of the way, that's called a Frenchie. So personally, I don't do them. Like, climbers do them a lot, and it's supposed to be, like, really helpful, especially for the one arm chin up, one arm pull up. Like, it's not my forte, honestly. I don't train like that. I like to just work the full range of motion all in one go without, like, overcomplicating it. Like, that's just the way I do it. I'm sure it's useful. It might be useful for getting toward plateaus in the hardest sticking points. So if you're, like, really weak in a certain range, then holding it statically in that range is probably going to be very helpful. Okay, so that's, like, the only time I would say it's probably really useful, but it has to be, like, for that specific use, a specific thing. By the way, guys, this is Malibu in the background. These are the Malibu hills. Yeah. Okay, so what else? Yeah. So I don't have any, like, recommendations for hold times for the Frenchies. It's just not my forte. It's not something I've really thought to implement in my training. It's a very specific, like, if you're just stuck at a specific point or need strengthening there. Okay, next question. By the way, I really appreciate the Why Am I Fat video. Thanks. That's an awesome, like, that video has gotten so many comments. I really should talk more about physique and aesthetics and people's perception of what's normal and what they should go for, because I think that's a huge topic. Yeah. So Jacob says, I'm getting wrecked by my IKEA chair. He's a software dev, fully working from home. So Jacob, I'm standing right now. Like, this is there's a green screen and like basically I'm standing. I have a standing desk that's motorized. Then I just push a button and then like it goes down, push a button and it goes back to my setting. And the one I used was from autonomous.ai. I'll just tag you right now and share the link. Like, I used one of these, I think the Smart Desk Premium, the bigger one, because I have dual monitors. And so honestly, like, it's not expensive compared to other standing desks, motorized standing desks. So like, honestly, like, use it, get it, especially if your work requires you to be on the computer all the time, which it does. Like, totally have a standing desk. Like, it's so awesome. I alternate between standing and sitting, and you know, there's nothing better than that, honestly, if that's how you can strike your balance. Okay, so by the way, if you guys have any requests for me to make any videos, say so in the chat, and I'm gonna read through the chat and eventually jot it down, because I'm gonna go recording hopefully tomorrow. So yeah, okay. Sam says, how about elbow pain with chin-ups or pull-ups? Steve says, avoid tennis elbow by not allowing fingers to extend while doing pulling exercises. Okay, so Sam, I'm not sure exactly with what's going on with your chin-ups and pull-ups. Oftentimes, you know, it's a form issue. You might not be doing like a proper scapular pull before you bend the elbows. Like, some people are like, the shoulders are shrugged up and then they're like doing the chin up, and like the mechanics are all wrong, rather than shoulders down and pulling down. So like, seeing a video of your actual chin-ups or pull-ups can help. Can also be like tightness somewhere along the chain, somewhere along either the shoulder or like even the chin-ups. If you have like forearm or wrist flexibility issues with chin-ups, could be affecting the elbow. It's all sorts of ways. You can also try neutral grip, where like the palms are facing each other. That's generally a little easier. Or just use rings. Rings rotate. Rings are awesome, guys. Have a pair of rings if you don't already. They're not sold out on Amazon yet. Like, a lot of things are sold out on Amazon, like a lot of exercise equipment, but I don't think wooden rings are. Get a pair of wooden rings, and then like doing chin-ups and pull-ups, because they could rotate. They rotate naturally. It's a little easier on the joints. So, but still, if you have any like form issues, definitely take a video. You can even just email me like a form check video, and I'll just check it out, you know? All right, so what's your opinion on the Hindu squat? Well, let's look at the Hindu squat. I think this is the one. I think I know which one this is, but let's get it. Is this the one where you're just going on like heels elevated? Yeah, I mean, I don't have any particular, yeah, like heels elevated. Yeah, I don't have any like particular preference against this or for it. The only benefit of it is that if you are lacking ankle flexibility, like this is an easy way to mitigate that. Okay, so that's all I got about Hindu squats. Let's see, next. Here's a request. Yoga with kids, 4 to 5 years old. Oh, interesting. Okay. Another suggestion, a full warm-up follow along for the recommended routine. You have one, but it's missing some exercises. I mean, I have one, like what it's missing is it's missing a couple things on purpose because they're like progressions. You have to kind of like figure some things out on your own. So, yeah. Next. Serpent says the Hindu squats are similar to sissy squats or hack squats. I see. It's possible. I mean, I personally, if you want to like get really strong and you don't have access to barbells, I would say move to pistol squats because you're, you know, you're doing it one leg at a time. So like I have a good video on pistol squats. Pistol squats and my name. We'll bring it up. So basically, that's a pistol squat. And you will learn this today. Okay? So like that exercise, especially with some weight, if you put the weight straight out in front of you, it mitigates any ankle flexibility issues you might be having, and you're going to be working one leg at a time, and it's going to be a lot more load on that one leg. So I would say if you want to get strong, that's one way to do it. Okay, that's a better way, I would say. So the Princeling says or asks, I'd like to ask about doing splits for beginners. How often should I stretch? Every day. And when I do stretch, for how long? If you just type splits routine and my name, you'll find like that I have a free splits routine here, and there's a lot of suggestion. Okay, now you could stretch every day. So like let's start over. The intensity of your flexibility, like how hard you go that day, really depends if you should go again the next day. You can stretch so hard that you can be sore for 4 days, or you can stretch enough to have a little bit of a breakthrough and then stop, and then the next day you can go for it again and just do small sessions, like not going extreme. And if you do it like that, you can stretch almost every day. However, if you are stretching really intensely and trying to push yourself really hard, going every day is gonna lead to issues. Your body is gonna be contracting. The muscles are gonna be contracting to protect themselves if they're too fatigued, which is gonna prevent you from actually stretching and lengthening them. So you have to find the style that works for you. You can make insane progress stretching for the splits, just doing them 3 times a week. If those 3 times are solid and like strong, you don't have to stretch every day. Like, it's definitely not. But if you want to, just know that when you get to a certain level, like if you want to like stretch the next day, like definitely don't go to your absolute max where you're just wrecked. Okay, you can, and if you do, just know that like you can't do that every day. Okay, so it's just like a balance. It's the same thing with strength training. You know, if you don't leave any gas in the tank, you can't keep going. You know, so yeah, that's about it. And my voice is kind of starting to go away from talking so much. How about you guys talk now? I'm gonna be cutting this stream short just because of that reason. Um, do I have any opinions on Herman Miller's Aeron? No, I don't know anything about that or anything at all. So that's a chair, right? Herman Miller. I don't have any opinions. Sorry. Um, Please make a body weight legs workout routine. Interesting. Oh. Serpent Phoenix asks, wooden rings versus plastic. Definitely get wooden rings. They're a little more expensive, but way better. They feel so much better. The grip is better. You still need chalk, like even with the wooden rings, but you can get by even without chalk on the wooden rings. Like I would recommend you use chalk, but like on the on the plastic ones, like you definitely need chalk if you're doing like false grip stuff. Like you really need it. However, on the wooden, it just feels so much better. Like just go for wooden, you know. The only time I would not recommend wooden rings is if you're gonna be hanging them outside and like you're hanging them outside and leaving them there in the rain and the sun day in and day out. Like, don't do that. Then you should get wooden rings. But then again, you're gonna have like straps. The straps will deteriorate in the sun too. So like, just don't do that. Get wooden rings, and they'll last just as long as anything else. If someone is very underdeveloped and thin, can you do a very basic video for people like us? I'm underweight and very little muscle mass at all. Yeah, maybe. Okay. But just know that the way you train, like just understand the concept of progression exercises and regression exercises. If in the video I say, okay, we're going to do 10 push-ups, I'm also going to say if you can't do any push-ups, you're going to have to elevate your hands on a table or a desk or some stair steps and do incline push-ups so that you can do them. Or if you can't even do it there, you've got to do it against the wall, then you have to go there. So like you really have to modify everything and figure out how to go about it. Yeah. What do you think about doing stretches during rest periods while doing strength workout? It's very good. It's a very efficient way to work out. If that's, if you have the energy to do that and the motivation and the commitment to do that and you have a nice plan, it works great, There is a Mark Lauren book, Body by You for females, doing body weight, but hard to follow. So something that starts at that level. Okay, I'll look into it. However, I will say that there's no difference between males and females anatomically when it comes to progression exercises. Okay, the training is all similar. Women just have less muscle mass in general to start, and they build muscle a little bit slower, but that doesn't mean that they should train any differently, if that makes sense. Okay. Is the bridge push-up a good alternative to pull-ups if you don't have access to a pull-up bar? I don't think so. No, not at all. Unfortunately not, no. Got it. Okay, Enzo, I got your message. R says, I have a pull-up bar. What else would you recommend for home workouts? So like a pull-up bar, a pair of rings to hang them from, And the other thing I use once in a while are bands, like bands that you can attach to the pull-up bar or just affix to the floor with your foot. And sometimes I use ankle weights, so like, but that's not really necessary. Like pull-up bar, rings, and yeah, pull-up bar and rings are like, will take care of like basically everything. But if you have a pair, like if you have some bands, then you're really well taken care of. And then if you want to make things a lot harder, then ankle weights will also help. Okay, so Luke says, no questions, but I love your videos. Thanks, man. Thank you. What are your thoughts about the book Overcoming Gravity from Stephen Lowe? It's an awesome book. It's like the Bible of bodyweight training. It's a very good book. I have a copy. I have both the first version and the second version. It's really cool. I mean, it's like a reference manual, okay? My thoughts on jump roping as an exercise. Jump roping is incredibly challenging. It's really, really good. It like destroys your calves. It's really good cardio. It's fun. It could be really fun. It could be hard on the knees. So, especially if you're jumping up and down on a hard surface. So it might be better on like softer surface if you have access to it. Like, but those are my thoughts on it. So yeah, you can totally use jump roping in between your bodyweight exercises. Just yeah, on some people it's like high impact repeatedly on the knees. If you're overweight especially, or you have weak knees. But other than that, it's cool. It's hard. You can make it harder in so many ways. So yeah. I caught up to the chat and I am gonna cut the stream here, guys, because my throat, I've been talking for a while. So I'm gonna stop right here. I have some videos to shoot. Um, Hopefully I'm gonna get my dog Medox in them. Let's see how compliant she is. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. You'll see me in the next video. And you're welcome for the live stream. Everyone is saying thanks. And I'll see you guys later.